Welcome. In today's video, we're going to be platinuming Jak and Daxter to Precursor's Legacy. We have 39 trophies to obtain for the platinum. As usual, I'll get everything in one playthrough while minimizing the cleanup. Lastly, I'll be discussing the whole plot of the game, so spoiler warning if you haven't played it. Let's get started.
I have spent my life searching for the answers that my father and my father's fathers failed to find.
Our game begins with a narration from the wise green sage, Samos. He charismatically describes the world we'll be entering, and does so in a very captivating way. He refers to these primitive deities, often called the Precursors, who constructed this world and its elements. They are, to quote Samos, masters of life and creators of all life on the planet. It's essential information. The atmosphere and the laws of this world are fascinating. Understanding and advancing societal development requires a lot of training and studying. Weighty stuff. Something these two knuckleheads don't quite grasp. Jak and Daxter, two immature adolescents who yearn for adventure and hope to one day become heroes. They decide to take a boat from the safety of their village to the nearby and forbidden Misty Island. They clearly should not be here. They encounter two nefarious dark sages. We'll come to know them as Gaul and Maya. They're giving a speech to their minions. They're both planning to use a dangerous worldly substance known as Dark Eco for total domination. One of those minions, referred to as a lurker, notices Jak and Daxter and tails them while these two are just goofing off with stuff in the area. That same lurker catches up and attacks them. This causes Jak to react, with Daxter getting mixed up in the conflict. The result is him getting knocked back into a pool of Dark Eco. The enemy is defeated, but something happens to Daxter. He's become a new creature?
I told you we shouldn't have come here, and you listened! What?
I love the voice acting and animations in this game. I'll probably mention that plenty of times while playing this, but this cutscene is a piece of art. Our boys take their L and head back to Sandover Village, where they rendezvous with Samos. Luckily, it was just a visual transformation and nothing more. He concludes that the only way to reverse Dexter's transformation is to find a sage that specializes in Dark Eco.
Form, Gal Acheron, the sage, but he lives far to the north. Far, far to the north. Nobody has spoken to him in ages. I would teleport you there, but I can't do that either. None of the three sages that maintain the other teleporter gates have seen fit to turn their ends on for quite a while. The only other way north is by foot through the Fire Canyon, but its volcanic soil is hot enough to melt precursor metal. You can't just walk through it.
But you could fly over it, if you had a zoomer equipped with a heat shield.
We also get introduced to Samos' daughter Kira, a determined, motivated friend who's also mechanically inclined. She'll occasionally help us with traversal as we progress through our journey. She'll need us to get a certain number of power cells so we can transition to the next area of the game. Jak and her kinda have the hots for each other. The stage is set for our adventure.
Brave adventurer! You two couldn't find your way out of the village without training. Before you do anything else, you better go through the warp gate and get some practice on Geyser Rock.
We won't find any more of that dark gooey eco stuff, will we? Cause I'd hate to fall in again and turn into you.
Get in there before I turn you both into ferns.
Yeah, before we go, we have to train and learn the game first. Geyser Rock is our first level. Here we learn basic controls and are exposed to the items we'll interact with throughout our experience. There are 3 collectibles for us to get in this game: Power Cells, Precursor Orbs, and Scout Flies. Power Cells are the primary thing you need to collect. They make the world go round in this universe and are linked to progressing anywhere in this game. Whenever you get one, you're treated to a fantastic celebration. Scientists have confirmed that this produces serotonin, the chemical in your brain responsible for happiness. Precursor Orbs are fancy metal eggs that you'll use as currency. I'll exchange them with various villagers and vendors to get even more power cells, resulting in more happy dances. Lastly, we have Scout Flies. Kira has placed 7 of these babies on each level for us to collect. Some of them are hidden away pretty well. Collect all 7 in an area for a power cell. We'll also come across Blue and Green Eco, which both serve a specific purpose. Blue Eco focuses on speed and agility. It's essentially the crackhead chakra, and like all good crackhead auras, it allows you to electrically power artifacts in the environment. Green Eco is tied to your life and vitality. You can get up to 4 hit points before you kick the bucket. Health loss can be regained by collecting 50 small green clusters or 1 giant cluster. I'll talk more about the other ecos as we come across them in the story. I think it's worth noting that there's pods you can run over to give you the maximum capacity of whatever eco it's tied to. My first trophy will shortly be awarded to me for opening a door with Blue Eco and collecting our first power cell. The scientist that made this game knew what he was doing with these celebrations. The best part is that we get to look at these 100 more times. Let's go ahead and wrap up this tutorial at Geyser Rock. Leaving Samos's hut, you get to explore Sandover Village. It's a small, modest community with a couple of inhabitants we could talk to. You have the mayor. This dapper Oompa Loompa is constantly anxious about getting re-elected. He'll need our help with the task in the Forbidden Forest. He also greases our palms with some power cells in exchange for orbs. If all else fails for his election, then maybe he could join Bill the Butcher's crew. He dresses the part at least. The Explorer is an adventurer in every sense of the word. Having traveled all over, his expertise is in cartography. He's also recognized as Jack's uncle, but strongly resembles Mr. Peanut from Planters, so there's that. The Sculptor is a chillax dude that resembles Stu Pickles from the Rugrats. If he went to community college and smoked pot. He's bummed out due to his pet muse missing. It's a huge source of inspiration for him. He needs us to get it back. Next, we have the lovely Birdwatcher. If there ever was someone who qualified for the Muriel Bag Lifetime Award, I would nominate her myself. She wants our assistance in securing a flut nearby on Sentinel Beach. Lastly, we have the farmer. This tired old fella provides the village with dairy from the local yak cow population. These same yak cows he wants us to help herd back into their pens, whenever we get the chance of course. Even though I've played this game countless times, I still enjoy looking at these cutscenes. How people talk and have a rubbery bounce demeanor. It reminds me of a high budget animated film from back in the day. It makes sense because this game's animation team consisted of members who had experience working at Disney and Nickelodeon. They created a high quality product for a game that was released in 2001. Only a few were hitting the strides Jak and Daxter were hitting. While we're on the topic of presentation, I think the soundtrack is also killer. It's very organic and earthy, as if the instruments used are the artifacts you see in the game world. After talking to some villagers and getting some quests assigned to us, I'll make my way to start the next level, Sentinel Beach. This level and many others show how phenomenal this game's design is. It can be played from start to finish without seeing a loading screen. Naughty Dog has found clever ways to disguise them. In addition to this, you have impressive features such as the seamless day to night transition. Man, I swear this proprietary engine was made on that secret sauce eco. This level is nice and open. You have the shore and grassy cliffs above it.
Auga! Auga! Dive for those orbs, Jak! Dive!
You can also go for a swim, just don't go out too far or you'll be a fish's lunch. That heartbeat sound effect is PTSD inducing. Many of these power cells are easy to obtain with the objectives right in front of you. While scrounging around, I collect my 100th Precursor Orb, which earned me my second trophy. I completed my Scout Fly collection here and got another trophy for helping this nice old lady by pushing this egg off a cliff and rescuing the flut inside of it.
Look, isn't that cute? It thinks you're its mama.
Ah! I'm not your mom! You see any feathers here?
Moving on, I smacked this pelican that gobbled up the power cell I was about to collect earlier. It then became a mini race to secure it. Nearby, some doofuses are shooting explosives from a tower at me. It looks like there's a pad for me to charge with blue eco, but I can't find enough pickups to jump off of it. I guess I'll return here later. And on that note, I'll return to Sandover, check out the other levels, and also turn in some tasks for power cells. Along the way, I decided to return to Farmer's Yak House to their pen. All I had to do was smack them and guide them in between hits. I feel like at some point I'm just hurting these guys, but hey, it's a necessary evil. My reward is a power cell and a shiny trophy. Lastly, I came across this old Precursor dispensing machine that really needs to clear his throat.
Who awakens the oracle? Wait, one of you has the light within.
He's willing to cough up both his power cells for 120 orbs a pop. My brief stint here in Sandover Village is done. Let's move on to the Forbidden Jungle. This is one of my favorite maps. It boasts a lovely circular design, effectively uses every space on the level, and has a cool indoor portion.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
It's just well crafted all around. An infamous mission on this level is a Fisherman's Quest. I imagine a handful of people dislike this minigame. I think it's fine. You have to capture healthy fish for him. Green fish are worth 1 pound and yellow fish are worth 5 pounds. You can miss up to 20 pounds of fish before you fail. A significant obstacle you'll face is the dreaded purple eco fish. They're bad for business and instantly fail you. The difficulty comes from the net's acceleration and sensitivity. It takes a minute or two to get down the rhythm of moving it. It kinda sucks because if you can't get past it, you won't be able to unlock a boat that will give you access to an entire level. You can still somewhat progress to the end, but it's ultimately needed for 100%. Here's to everyone who gave up on this title because of this minigame. This one's for you. Completing this minigame will award us with our 6th trophy and give us access to a new area, Misty Island, the place from the intro. The fisherman's goal in life is completed. He will now spend the rest of his days with a broken record laugh. After more exploration, getting a power cell or two, and a slight heart attack, I scaled the precursor structure in the map's center. I earned a trophy for earning my 28th scout fly and completing the collection this area has to offer. When I reach the top of the tower, I access a lift that takes me to its heart.
Yeah, so we got a precursor launcher here, but you aren't powered up with the blue stuff, so it ain't gonna help us!
I go through the corridors and eventually find myself in my first boss fight. He's super easy. Kill his minions and give him the classic 3 bops to get a trophy. Also, we've unlocked blue eco vents worldwide. This means we can return to places like Sentinel Beach and get those dastardly minions shooting bombs out of that cannon. I like the you permanently alter the world continuity in games, and Jak and Daxter does it nicely. You do this so often. In fact, the next trophy we get does the same. It's more on the visual scale though than gameplay. The mayor in Sandover wanted us to connect the blue eco beams in the jungle, which would eventually connect back to the village's windmill. This got us our 9th trophy, Shiny Happy Steeples. My work in Forbidden Jungle is done. I'll make a quick pit stop in Sandover Village and Sentinel Beach to handle some quick business. More specifically, I want to return to that jump station we didn't have enough blue eco to activate. A couple of power hops later, and we could take care of those jerks shooting bombs at us. Stopping these guys got us our 25th power cell, resulting in our 10th trophy, Power Lunch. Let's use that fisherman's boat and go to a new destination, Misty Island. Being back here, you just feel the spooky, draining atmosphere of what this place has to offer. Its circular design and loops are similar to the Forbidden Jungle, albeit a bit more intricate. Whereas that place was nature and jungle, I get part industrial, part mechanical feel here. Oh yeah, and Spooky Death Graveyard too. The first task I took care of here was finding the Sculptor's Muse. It ran away from its home in Sandover Village. It's also given us a nice little chase. I can't lie, bro snapped my ankle several times. I eventually got its pattern down though. The capture animation is just gold. The enemies here are also a little more challenging. Luckily, we have something to contend with that. Insert Red Eco. This pickup gives you extra strength and speed with melee attacks. You can pretty much fold anything in your way with one hit. This will become super handy when we find ourselves in an ambush. You have more dickhead lurkers shooting bombs at you while their homies try to murk you. Putting the beats on everyone gets our 11th trophy, tonight's featured event. Oh hey look, it's that vat of Dark Eco Dexter Felon. I wonder what would happen if we... Dark Eco will fuck me up. Write that down, Patrick. A few scout flies and precursor orbs later, we'll encounter our first zoomer to use. These mechanical broomsticks are a great time. This section is low stakes and relatively bare bones, making it a great introduction to how they work. A few sick jumps and iced out enemies later, the lurker balloons are destroyed. We'll earn our 12th trophy. Pop goes the lurker. There isn't much left for us to do here. We do get an opportunity to put hands on those guys that shot bombs at us. We'll have to dodge bouncy logs on our way to do that. After gathering this area's 7 scout flies, I decided to end my time on Misty Island and return to Sandover Village. We'll turn in some quests and trade orbs for power cells. I think we're ready to cross Fire Canyon. Fire Canyon itself has a twist. We have to run over these water-filled balloons to keep our zoomer cooled off. Otherwise, things might get a bit spicy for our heroes. There's an assortment of items available to either assist or hinder your experience during these vehicle sections. We also have our fair share of collectibles here, to include a pair of power cells and a trophy. With Fire Canyon completed, we'll transition to the next act of our story.
What is this foul sorcery?
We're approaching this game's second central hub, Rock Village. Here, we'll arrive at the Blue Sage's hut. To our surprise, we'll find it completely wrecked and the Sage himself missing. I'll activate this hut's portal and allow our friends to come through. Kira points out that the village is in disarray due to this troublemaker. He goes by the name of Claw. She wants our help in removing the flaming boulder blocking the path to him. Of course, this machine runs on power cells, so we have to collect more to advance. Let's go down to the village and see what we can find. The atmosphere here is dull and depressing. These burning rocks are really harshing our mellow. This place needs a hero to bring back order. There's a couple of residents to converse with here. The geologist is intelligent and speaks eloquently. She studies nature and observes the nearby area. She asks for our help guiding the nearby mole population back into their burrows with our trusty zoomer due to them having vision problems. After her, there's the gambler. He's a bettor with the stereotypical New Yorker accent. Since losing his pants in a bet, he's relegated to using this barrel as his wardrobe. Being one boner away from making this game rated adults only, he gives us a racing challenge. He also provides us with an opportunity to buy power cells from him. Next, we have the warrior. This Hercules wannabe tried to run up on Claw and got folded. It was so bad that he just cries and sulks about it in the village center. He felt so inclined to remove the floating pontoons leading to Claw, buying the village time, which is a power move I guess. This bitch wants us to pay him orbs to return them. I ought to kick his ass myself. Lastly, we have the precursor structure that has been chain smoking those green Eco 100s. He graciously asked us for more orbs in exchange for his power cell eyes. This hub connects us to 3 new levels: Precursor Basin, Lost Precursor City, and Boggy Swamp. My first stop is going to be Precursor Basin. This semi-open area is a playground for us and our zoomer. The activities are centered around your ability to navigate it. It has an excellent amount of verticality. There's enough sweet jumps to satisfy the likes of even Napoleon Dynamite. As I got a feel for the area, I collected precursor orbs and scout flies. My scout fly collection grew to 49, resulting in me getting my 14th trophy, Buzzed. Before I continue to run around the map aimlessly, I decided to use this green eco vent to eradicate all the dark eco plants infecting this map section. As a result, I got the green thumb trophy. The following task involved me using my zoomer to assert my authority or as a vehicle for racing. Let's start by herding those moles back into their burrow. This is easy. These adorable creatures are pretty docile and resemble Conker's well-behaved cousins. The lurkers require a more advanced maneuver. This comes in the form of you ramming your zoomer up their ass, with the last one smuggling a trophy. Catch as catch can. Say that 5 times fast. Focusing on the racing task, I have 3 objectives, 2 ring checkpoint races and a timed course. The ring courses are a great challenge. You enter the purple ring suspended in the air, hitting every single one until you get the power cell and a trophy. The same is true for the blue rings. They pose more of a challenge, but they're no match for my zoomer skills. Lastly, we have this race from the gambler back in the village. He opened up the course in Precursor Basin for us to participate in and gives us 45 seconds to finish the race. The race is relatively easy. Time is generous and allows you to make a mistake here or there.
What is this foul sorcery?
You get a trophy paired with the power cell as a reward for completing it. Alright, Precursor Basin has been taken care of. I'll proceed to the next level, Lost Precursor City. This fantastic level has us transitioning to a precursor version of Atlantis. I love the use of colors here. The primary hue is blue, but it's accented by shades of red, yellow, green, and a few others that blend together nicely. It feels like BioShock's Rapture, but if it was displayed through a Saturday morning cartoon lens. A main hazard presented here is the changing swimming water. It cycles between regular water and electrically charged Mountain Dew that can kill you. Many tasks you encounter here will have this obstacle as a primary factor. Naturally, this means you'll have to platform while not falling and getting zapped. Jak's dying animation reminds me of when I swam in pools as a kid. I would just float like this and pretend I'm Goku in one of those medical machines. Some neat accommodations are made for this. You have these ledges that revolve around each other based on your position. Getting this power cell got me my 20th trophy, Power Chords. It's for me having a total of 50 power cells. This level also increases the complexity of the enemies you encounter. You have to apply specific combat moves from Jak and Daxter to defeat them, understanding how their vulnerabilities work. These open spaces will eventually become smaller as I slide down these slopes. I'll be sure to collect any precursor orbs on my way down. While doing this, I got my 21st trophy, the Orberator, for obtaining my 1000th precursor orb. This last section concludes with me getting a power cell and activating a deadly trap. We gotta escape while this dark eco is slowly creeping up on us. This is the kind of stuff that separates the men from the boys, everyone. Let's go up down some of that blue eco and get out of Dodge. Almost out of here. Whew. That was the last power cell we earned here. Let's power up this pod and take a first class trip to the surface. After this beautiful transition to the surface, we'll get a message from Kira, get another power cell, and make our way to the last area in Rock Village, Boggy Swamp. If the Lost Precursor City was clean with a unique charisma, Boggy Swamp is the older brother, and that's gross. It's rainy, muddy, and as you can tell by the title, pretty swampy. Yellow eco is much more prominent here, and you'll need a lot of it, trust me. Yellow eco is more of a ranged projectile than anything. You use it frequently to dispatch your foes safely and from a distance. Nothing better than giving your foes a DBZ Kai Blast. One of the main enemies you'll face here are these red swamp rats. They spawn in abundance and infinitely until you destroy their tree homes. The things you face here are generally more spaced out, so you have to get used to shooting things from afar if you haven't already. The environment here is much more deadly, with things like dark eco sludge and prickly vines that hurt you if you touch them. The setting itself takes on the form of an enemy depending on how you navigate it. The primary objective you're given in Boggy Swamp is releasing the 4 ropes attached to this zeppelin. It's referred to as the dirigible. You get a power cell for each rope that you sever. These tethers are tucked away into closed off spots, leaving me disadvantaged. The creatures that use it to their advantage try to outnumber you with surprise ambushes. Of course, they're no match for us. Conquering this ambush earned me my 22nd trophy for showing these lurkers who's boss. We'll soon encounter a lovely Flut Flut who wants to tag along with us on our adventure. This spiced up the platforming a bit. Our mini expedition had us find some scout flies, precursor orbs, and a power cell. I love that animation. Once we return our Flut Flut, we'll encounter a fellow named Boggy Bill and his pet Farthy. This country bumpkin is as unpleasant as they come. He's fighting off the red swamp rats who wants his cupcakes. That's when he's not hitting the eco spirits too hard. This leads to our next activity, protecting Farthy's snacks from the local rat population. You have to blast these fools while preventing them from getting a cupcake. Not a single one. You need good aim and great awareness to succeed at this. It's pretty easy to let a rat slip out of sight. All it takes is for one of them to get a cupcake before you fail the minigame. Us succeeding with this mission gives us a power cell and trophy 23. Hungry? Shortly after that, we'll release the last tether attached to the Zeppelin. This will award us with the Led Zeppelin trophy. With that, we'll conclude our time at Boggy Swamp. We have some claw butt we need to whoop. Let's head on over and give him the hands. The claw boss battle is pretty nice. It keeps you on your toes. You never get too comfortable in one spot. It instills a sense of urgency in you as you progress through it. A few boulder drops later, and Claw is toast. We'll get the Declaw trophy for winning this battle. With our time in Rock Village behind us, we have another Zoomer section to look forward to. This time, we'll be riding through Mountain Pass. This won't be a Sunday stroll, however. These crazy lurkers have a bomb at the end. You have to race them and destroy them before they blow everything up. Let's grab everything we can on the way. Eco, orbs, scout flies. Maybe not those. I'm trying to watch my TNT consumption. A power cell and a trophy are waiting for us at the end. Zoom, zoom. At the end of Mountain Pass is the third and last hub, Volcanic Crater. Here, we'll arrive at the Red Sage's hut. He's missing, and his place is also trashed. Activating the portal lets our friends come through while giving us some unexpected company, Gaul and Maya. They confess to kidnapping the different sages and give a whole spiel on world domination. It's clear that they've developed an addiction to dark eco, which has wholly consumed them at this point. Poor Samos tries to reason with them, but to no avail. This means that Dexter won't be getting his transformation reversed since Gaul was a specialist who could help him out. They vanish and leave us wondering about our next steps. Starting the last leg of the game, Kira wants us to get more power cells to advance to Gaul and Maya's citadel through the lava tube. Using our trusty zoomer, of course. We have the Volcanic Crater Hub and 2 new levels to explore, Snowy Mountain and Spider Cave. Starting out in Volcanic Crater, I'll journey around its circular design, loops on loops on loops. There's a few NPCs for me to interact with here. Gordy and Willard are just some miners trying to harvest gems for orbs. Something I can respect. They have a major pinky in the brain energy that's just lovable. I love that Willard is shown to be an airhead in his speech, specifically in his design with the whole bird brain thing. They have a few power cells to spare in exchange for some precursor orbs. The other NPC we interact with here is a good old precursor structure, which could stand to use a cough drop or two at this point. I can't help him with his funny voice, but I can buy 2 power cells from him with some of my orbs. Let's get started on our next adventure, Snowy Mountain. This ice wonderland has excitement packed around every corner. Snow boulders, yeti lurkers, ice caves, and a fort that's begging to be explored. This is just an ancient wiener. There's so much to do and see, I don't know where to begin. I started by following the trail of precursor orbs. This led me to some lurker troops trying to harvest some frozen equipment. I can't let that happen. I'll need to use some red eco to dispatch them and watch for any additional groups I might encounter. A curveball this level throws is icy floors you must skate across. They're combined with platforming, which makes for a little fun adjustment. In the nearby area, there's an ice cave filled with those precursor schlongs for us to navigate around. At the end of this cave is the yellow eco containment structure. Activating it unlocks all yellow eco vents worldwide. This serves us well. It allows us to backtrack to certain areas. We can now grab any previously unobtainable items. Some more exploration led me to another cave. This one is filled with a particular enemy lurker type, the snow bunnies. One of my favorite enemies, they... Oh hey Dr. Umar, what are you doing here? These guys are having a Project X themed party in here. Just a bunch of bros, some red eco, and dark eco crates that can harm you. No hoes or booze in sight though. These dweebs have a power cell and a trophy waiting for me at the end. I'll continue my rampage against the lurker race by disbanding the last glacier troop for another trophy. Hey, check it out, it's our Flut. We have a nice little section with it. There's a sweet reward waiting for us that's not just a power cell. We get access to a brand new area. This area boasts many structures that need scaling and some lurkers that need eviction. I feel Crash Bandicoot's DNA running through it. A couple of orbs, a scout fly, and another power cell later, we can move on from here. The last thing we must do here is destroy the mystery box with the yellow eco we get from this vent, completing the last task on this level. We're ready to move on to the next map, Spider Cave. If Snowy Mountain was a bright outdoor location begging to be explored, Spider Cave is the opposite. It's dark and claustrophobic. You don't know what danger is lurking around the corner.
Stretcher?
This map also emphasizes insects, so you will have a terrible time here if you hate centipedes and spiders. I went ahead and knocked out 2 quests in the first room. One is an agility quest that has you jumping on different moving platforms. The other one requires you to take care of the centipede infestation. They inhabit these trees. Melee attacks won't work on them because they'll just hide if you're too close. You'll have to use yellow eco from afar and whittle down these fast moving critters until they're no more. I'll encounter these dark eco crystals that we have to destroy along our journey. We'll just do a quick tap and run for our lives. Huh. So when they're not protecting little sisters, big daddies from BioShock seek employment in other games, I guess. People in my audience who have arachnophobia might want to close their eyes. I'll quickly get this power cell and be on my way. A highlight here is the room with the giant precursor mech embedded in the ground. It reminds me of the first Metal Gear Solid when you traverse around Metal Gear Rex at the end of the game. There's a mission tied to climbing around it. Once again, you feel this game falling back on its platforming DNA and creating a fun and engaging section, seamlessly blending that 2D and 3D feel. There's also a cool separate section where you swing from bars, giving the feeling of verticality. Our last stop has us navigating a dark room. The only way to advance is by illuminating these green crystals that glow when you smack them. Time is of the essence here. I took a quick break from the darkness to swim and destroy the last dark eco crystal for my 29th trophy, Kerblam. This power cell should be the last one I need for this area. Along with the precursor orbs and scout flies, I think it's time for us to move on to the last vehicle section. Off to Lava Tube. The formula is the same here, we just have to progress from start to finish. They rev up the challenge a good amount, which requires efficiency and patience as well. Hitting those cooling water balloons is key to survival. You cover a lot more exposed lava ground, which heats you up quickly. Yellow eco plays more of a role here, with you shooting targets to progress or to create paths for you to move through. My favorite areas are these narrow paths that wind around each other. They give off racecourse vibes like there were supposed to be other Zoomer riders you go against. They also give your vehicle a much needed cooldown break, which I definitely welcome. Every time I play this portion, I like to go through these parts and try to mix up and combine different path options. Eventually, all paths lead to the inevitable power cell, accompanied by a trophy. Opening the new portal here, we only see Kara. She informs us that Gal and Maya have kidnapped Samos and are underway with their dark eco plan. I have to rescue the 4 sages and end this. Welcome to Gal and Maya's Citadel. We see a massive, modified Precursor mech in the center, and the energy of the 4 imprisoned sages being harvested. We have to free each one individually. Each path that leads to them is unique. They all begin with a fair share of platforming you'll need to do. The room leading to the red sage is probably the easiest for me. You have to navigate the unstable flooring, which was already established to me as the player before I made my way here. Once you're past that, you have to fight a ton of respawning snow bunny lurkers and destroy their production hives.
Do you know how long I've been in here?
1 red sage free, and a trophy titled Set Me Free added to our collection. The obstacle course for freeing the blue sage involves jumping on large-scale objects that twist and turn in every direction imaginable. You need to be more patient here than anything else and jump when the time is right.
Wait! Piles of precursor metal!
Releasing the blue sage gets us the No Set Me Free trophy. The yellow sage's course is probably the most fun for me. You have to jump off of charged up blue eco pads and land on moving platforms. It's a fun course that doesn't require much thought.
Who would have thought I'd live to see the day when I needed to be rescued?
Freeing him gets us the Hey, Set Me Free trophy. All that is left is Samos. He's at the top of the Citadel. Before we make our ascension to him, I'll get the last of the Scout Flies and the last of the Precursor Orbs this game has to offer for both of their respective trophies. Alright, let's free our mentor and put an end to all this. Freeing Samos got me 2 trophies. Set Me Free already for saving him, and Maximum Power for collecting the last power cell in the game. Yup, we have all 101 power cells. Samos gives us a game plan for defeating the Precursor robot. While we're going over this, Gaul and Maya quickly show up to hijack the mech. With time running out, it's up to Jak and Daxter to destroy the robot and save the world. The stage is set. We're about to engage in our last boss fight. This one's for all the marbles. Utilizing the different ecos being presented is crucial to our success. I gotta use yellow eco to shoot projectiles at our target whenever we get the chance. Gaul and Maya are trying to pry open the dark eco silo so they can enact their plan. At every stage in the fight, the gap gets larger and larger, so we have to be careful not to slip into it. Blue eco helps us transition to the different stages of the boss fight by propelling us into the air, avoiding a bomb that gets thrown at us. Gaul and Maya's strategies are no match for us. We just outclassed them. After dodging the cannon blast, the sages combine their ecos, creating the perfect counter to defeat these dark eco foes, light eco. We get a quick moment of catharsis from Daxter when he realizes that light eco can change him back to his former self, but ultimately, he decides that saving the world is more important. Jak goes Super Eco Saiyan, which looks like he over-applied sunscreen, and smashes the robot mech to smithereens. The portion of the robot holding Gaul and Maya ended up falling into the dark eco silo, possibly ridding the world of these evil beings. As we get our last 2 trophies, we watch Jak and Daxter perform one last iconic victory dance.
Well, it looks like I may have been too hard on you boys. You do have what it takes to be heroes.
Daxter comes to grips with the fact that he'll probably be his Otto form for the rest of his life. This doesn't stop him from cockblocking Jak though. And that's our journey with Jak and Daxter to Precursor's Legacy. What an iconic experience. Playing through this game for this video made me feel like a kid back in 2001. This fantastic platformer stood the test of time after all these years. It, along with many other games, ignited my passion for gaming. As I place all 101 power cells on this Precursor door, I just want to thank you for making it this far in the video. Your support means everything to me. I look forward to covering the rest of the Jak and Daxter games in future videos. Until then, you can share the hidden door reward with the game's crew.
Wow! What is it?
It's so beautiful.
By the precursors.
Here it is. Yep. Yeah, this is it. I can't hear you. Have a good one.
Now, all of you, get out of here!